Hey class, so just a quick uh, video, less than, I don't know, 12, 13 minutes, just to give you kind of an overview on some topics that I think are important. Okay? Hey class, so I just want to go over BRICS nations. Um, in your textbook, it really only discusses BRIC, B-R-I-C, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. But in reality, South Africa, which is the S, joined this trade alliance in 2010. So that's 8 years ago. And I just want to give you some figures so that you can understand the importance of these BRICS nations. So they have a combined GDP, right? That's gross domestic product of $15 trillion. They also represent 19.3% of the global gross domestic product. In other words, they represent nearly 20% of the world's economy. That's significant. They also, in terms of land mass, they represent 25.7%, and then they also represent 42.7% of the world population. And we have to think that China is the most populous country in the world, followed by India. So you have the top number one and top number two most populated countries within that BRIC trade alliance. They've also seen that that there has been they've contributed more than 50% to the world's economic growth during the last decade. So that's fairly substantial, right? And then they've also had intra-BRIC trading, meaning trading with each other within those five countries has grown from 567 billion to nearly 744 billion. So you're looking at a significant growth where they're trading with each other. Now, this bloc of emerging economies has long struggled to establish a unified voice on the international stage. In other words, how important are these countries and how important is this trading bloc? BRICS have sought really to reject the Western dominance of international institutions, but have lacked the unity for members to come up with different, alternative solutions. So the U.S. federal government, our policy now is that we are putting significant duties on imported steel and aluminum, and those new duties or tariffs are really going to impact the BRIC members. And in fact, China and India and Russia have already responded with retaliatory duties or tariffs. And then the bloc is starting to rally. So what might happen is China might turn to India, Brazil, and Russia to source products it originally bought from the U.S., such as soybeans, wheat, and meat. So we can see that, yes, trading is a very complicated, global trade is a very complicated set of balances. So yes, we are, as a country, we are looking to set high tariffs on steel and aluminum, and certainly that is benefiting our domestic steel and aluminum makers. But in terms of retaliatory actions, our soybean, wheat, and meat producers who are selling to these BRIC nations might be hurt. So you're not buying, for example, I'm China, and you're not buying my steel and aluminum. Well, guess what? I'm not going to buy your soybeans, wheat, and meat. So again, when we think about global trade, we have to think about it in terms of a balancing act where one particular action will impact one particular action in one sector might impact some other sector. For example, aluminum versus meat. I'm going to end that here. This is really the only thing I wanted to talk to you about today. Hey class, so let's discuss a little bit about what a tariff is. A tariff is a tax. It's as simple as that. And it is a tax that the importer, right? The importer of record, it pays to the sovereign country in which those goods are being imported into. So for example, let's use the US and China. If you buy a product, if you are a brand, let's say you're Nike, and you contract with a factory in China to make one of your sneakers, and then you import those sneakers into the US, even though Nike is a US-based company, they will still be the one paying the tariff because they are the importer of record. So I just want to be clear, the factory in China who made those sneakers are not the importer of record. The importer of record is the brand, Nike in this case, who is importing those sneakers to be sold to the US consumer. So Nike will be paying the importation tariff or the importation tax to the sovereign government. In this case, the sovereign government is the US government. So Nike will be paying the tax. Nike, who is a US-based company, will be paying the tax to the federal government. But now here's my question. If Nike's costs, their expenses go up, that would mean that their profit would go down. So what do you think Nike or any other brand will do? They will simply raise their retail prices so that they can maintain their profit. And you, the US consumer, will be paying a higher retail price. Now, there are a number of reasons that tariffs exist, and we will go into them in a little more depth later in the week. But I just want you to be clear about what a tariff is, who actually pays a tariff, and ultimately how it affects retail prices. Now, you may or may not have noticed some prices rising, but if you are in the building trades, in other words, people who build buildings, build homes, build skyscrapers, you will have seen that the price of steel and other types of building materials have been steadily climbing. And that has to do with the tariffs that have been set against China. So I'm going to go on now to the next slide where we're going to talk a little bit about PESTLE. Hey folks, so I'm sure you're familiar with a SWOT analysis, which looks at strengths and weaknesses and opportunity and threats of a given specific business. You could also, do a SWOT analysis, I'm sure, of a sector. But what we're really looking at, and what is also another tool, another framework in which to do analysis, is PESTLE, which is an acronym that stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. And you can look at different environments using this framework. And when we're speaking about environments, an environment could be a physical location, it could be a particular sector. So you might look at, you might do a PESTLE for starting a business in Brooklyn Heights or in Brooklyn, or you might do a PESTLE for, entering the pet care sector or something like that. And really it's about scanning that environment and making strategic decisions of whether, to launch a new business or grow your existing business, within that environment. For our purposes right now, I'm going to think about doing a PESTLE in terms of going global with your business. And since we're in the US, and I'm going to make that, I know there are a number of international students here, But when we think about going global in business, what we're going to think about is that our businesses are US based and we are looking to expand either into, Europe, somewhere in Europe, either Western or Eastern Europe, or or the Mideast, or the Indian subcontinent, or in Asia, or in any of the oceanic areas such as Australia, New Zealand, or any of the other or any of the other island countries that surround that. So we're going to think of that in that way. So if we were to do a PESTLE in which we were to grow our business into countries that belong to the EU, we would look at the political situation, the economic, the social, the technological, the legal, and the environmental that are happening within the EU. And for those of you who you should be familiar with it, but the EU is the European Union. Now we know that Brexit is happening, so we might, if we were looking to expand merely into England, we would really need to pay really close attention to what is going on in terms of political and legal, but that is also going to impact definitely the economy and definitely the social. And then we see if we were doing something in Brazil, which is one of our BRICS nations, not only we need to could be concerned about political and economic, but we know as of this last few weeks, environmental is going to be a major component about starting any business in Brazil. So, and for those of you who haven't been paying attention, because of slash and burn, farming and mining and other things, the Amazon jungle is actually on fire, like 25, like a considerable amount of it is burning. And I hope that you've been catching that in the news, and if you hadn't, I hope that you would, start reading the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, any reputable news periodical. So I'm going to end that here, and this is going to be it for our Monday video. If you have any questions, please do email or call me, and my contact information is up here on the screen. Thanks.